please don't let this be you, because one of the biggest mistakes I see coaches, consultants, and other online business owners make is that thinking client experience is only one-sided. Most people have the idea that client experience is there just to make your clients feel good. But what if I told you that client experience actually lives at the intersection of two things? Number one, how your clients experience your business, but number two, how your business functions because of that experience. That's an important thing that you have to note in business, because a lot of people, I've been there, only looked at client experience as this one side. But the problem is, when you look at it only from this perspective, you miss out on the fact that your client experience is a growth strategy for your business. All right, so I know that sounds like a lot of information. So let me actually paint the picture for you, right? I want you to think about America's favorite restaurant, Chick-fil-A. And so I love Chick-fil-A. A lot of other amazing people love Chick-fil-A. But if I can be honest, I'm going to keep it 100, right? If you ask me, I'd go to Popeyes for a Popeyes chicken sandwich any day. But somehow I always end up at Chick-fil-A, right? Now, the truth is, I go to Popeyes every now and then, but I don't go there often as often as I go to Chick-fil-A because of the experience. It's just something about making sure that when I get good food, I also have good experience to go alongside of it. But when you think about Chick-fil-A, I always make a joke that we give Chick-fil-A so much grace. They get our order wrong, we're like, oh, they were just having a bad day. Oh, it was probably just a high schooler that served me. As long as they say, it's my pleasure. It's something about hearing it's my pleasure that gets me every time. As long as we hear it's our pleasure and we get our sauces in the bag, we're good. But it's something about that client experience that makes us actually go back to Chick-fil-A and choose them over other amazing chicken places. Because Chick-fil-A, most people will say that their food is decent. It's not out of this world, right? But I want you to think about something. One thing that Chick-fil-A has done so masterfully is they have this entire training, this entire onboarding for their team. Even if you're going to be a franchise owner, there's a process that you have to go through. But one of the things that they train and they make sure that they do is they differentiate the difference between service, which is transactional, and hospitality, which is the personal experience. Those two things together, not alone, those things together is what starts to build what we feel is an emotional connection to a place, an offer, or a thing, right? And so I want you to take a look at your business, because if you don't pick up that same thing, if you don't start to realize that yes, you have a service, you have an offer, just like Chick-fil-A has the Chick-fil-A sandwich, maybe the grilled nuggets, they have these offers, but if they only had that alone, we'd go somewhere else like Popeyes and get another chicken sandwich or whatever we needed from somewhere else. But they learned that it's not just the service or the transaction, but it's also the hospitality, the personal experience that comes along when someone chooses to work with you, right? And so when you recognize this, you'll also recognize that if you don't have both of these things, it's actually costing you money. And so let me share a little bit about why that is hurting you when you don't look at both the service and the personal experience that someone has when they work in your business, right? And so when you just treat client experience as a nice to have, you don't look at it as a business asset. And so when you don't look at it as a business asset, you find yourself working harder. You might even find yourself spending more on ads. You're chasing new leads every month, right? Any of this sound familiar? Maybe, because a good offer alone is not what sustains your business. It's actually your offer in conjunction with your client experience that supports the growth of your business. Now, I'm not that person that's going to give you all of this amazing information, but not tell you how you can begin to shift and implement it in your business. Because a lot of times what happens is, and I've been there, you realize that, hey, not having a client experience is costing me, but you also realize that you waited a little too late to start to implement, and now you're exhausted trying to build your business, trying to go back through, get everything done when you can implement a few things starting today and begin to stop treating your business like just a transaction, but recognize that it takes your offer, a good offer, and a good experience to really use your client experience as a business growth tool in your business and to start looking at it like an asset. So if it's okay with you all, I want to share something that a lot of people haven't taken the time to do in their business to really assess how their client experience can really begin to help their business grow their revenue, their referrals, and even their retention, right? And so I'm going to give you 3 things. So if you don't already have a pen and paper, I want you to take one out. All right. So the first thing that I want you to recognize is that just like any business, you have to learn to be able to track what's happening in your business. And so oftentimes I don't find that people are tracking or measuring their client experience, again, because they're looking at it as just an opportunity for their clients to feel good. They're not treating it like a business strategy, right? And so I'm gonna teach you a few ways that you can track your client experience. All right. Number 1, if you're writing down and following along with me, is I want you to take note of how long do people actually stay and pay you? How long do they actually stay and pay you, your business, your brand, whatever it is? I want you to ask yourself, how long are they actually doing it? So I'm not asking who's buying from you. I'm asking, how long does someone stay connected to your business? This is kind of what we call lifetime value. So lifetime value is how long or how much has someone paid you over a period of time in your business. Now, let me give you an example because that may not be a clear picture for you. So I'm currently recording on my Osmo, but next to my Osmo, I'm using my Apple MacBook for notes, right? So I got an Apple MacBook from Apple a few years ago, but not only do I have a MacBook, I have an iPad, right? Also from Apple. I have my iPhone, also from Apple. Downstairs, I have my AirPods, Apple. And somewhere around here, I think I have some Beats, Apple Beats, right? And I'm charging all of my stuff with cords that I've bought from Apple. Do y'all know how much money Apple done got from me over these years? I don't know either. But that is what you call lifetime value. So lifetime value gives you an opportunity for someone not just to pay you one time, but to pay you over and over. You've probably heard me call it repeat clients, right? And so when you're able to see how long people are staying with you, you understand what your lifetime value is per client. And so on average, most people, I want to say on average, a lot of times people have clients that stay for about 90 days, 6 months. And if you're pretty good, you may see a year, right? But the objective is you want to be like Apple. You want to have clients that anytime I think about a tech device, if it's something that Apple has, it's a no-brainer. You want to become a no-brainer for your clients if they're looking to buy anything in your wheelhouse, right? Anything in your business wheelhouse, you want them to automatically say, I don't want to just buy one time from this person. I don't want to just buy one time from you. I want to buy over and over and over. The client experience is actually an opportunity for you to extend continuation. So if you have an offer that gets them from point A to B and now you're ready to take them to C, you want to be the one to do it, right? And so you have to measure how long people are paying you and staying with you. You want to learn how to increase your lifetime value. All right. Number 2, you want to be able to measure, where do people fall off? All right. A lot of times we don't like to think about that. When we see somebody fall off, immediately we're like, all right, we got to get back to the money. Get back to the money, right? Get back to the money. But no, that's cool. We want you to continue to make money, but you also have to take a pause. Everybody say pause. All right. You have to pause and see where people are falling off. What I mean is, I'm not talking about the people that are, maybe canceling or refunding. We'll talk about those people later. But right now, we're talking about the people who stop engaging, who don't finish the program, who maybe disappear halfway through, even though they're still paying, right? And so I want you to think about, I actually recently I realized that my best friend hadn't texted me. I was like, yo, she hasn't texted me. She hadn't called me, and she lives 15 minutes down the street, right? I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't talked to her. So, of course, I call her, and the first thing I say, hey, is everything good? What's going on? Is there something that I need to help you? Is there some way I need to support you? I'm checking in to diagnose, like, hey, what's going on? Now, we don't talk all the time, but we do have a certain routine of like, hey, every so often we should be hearing from each other, right? And so that should be the same thing for your business. If you notice that people are falling off, don't let them just keep falling off. You need to take a moment to diagnose, why haven't I heard from them? Why haven't they been engaged? Take a moment to actually assess that. We're not going to talk about what to do to fix it right now. I just want you to assess it. Have you realized that if you started with 10 clients in your program, maybe you started with 50 people in your program, 50, 60% through, now you're only having 40, even though 100% is still paying, right? What is causing those people to fall off in that moment? You won't know until you assess it. All right. So I want you to assess what is really happening to cause your clients to fall off in the midst of them growing and working with you. Why is this important? Because drop off is not random at all. When people tend to not show up or, stop engaging with you, there's a few things that you can look at. You can see, is this a point that maybe I started to lose clarity in what I'm saying, what I'm teaching, what I'm providing? Or is it just lost momentum? They were really excited in the beginning, but this is a point where I'm noticing after this point, they're starting to get what we call buyer's remorse. They're like, hey, maybe you have a high ticket offer. And now it's starting to sink in that, let's say, for instance, if you're working with starterpreneurs or those are who's typically, your program is typically the first time they've made that large investment. Do you notice that a lot of times the momentum dies? You have to assess the problem. You would not dare drive around in a car or have something going on in your home and you see a problem, but never stop to assess, why isn't this thing working the way that it should be working? All right. Because if you don't look at it, you can't fix it. You ready? Number 3, how many people actually finish what they start? And so you want to find out how many people how many people don't finish with you and why. And so this is what a lot of times you may hear this term, you may not, but it's called churn. CHURN, churn. This is when people are canceling. They're requesting maybe refunds. Maybe they're even just not renewing if you have a monthly subscription. What is the reason that people are choosing not to finish? Before, we talked about those that are just not engaging, they're just not showing up. But now the third thing we want to be able to measure is why people are voluntarily choosing not to continue in your program or your offer, right? And so I want to give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I was going through cleaning up my subscription, some stuff that I hadn't used in a while. And I was going through, and you've probably experienced this because now you recognize that it's a lot more common. But when you get ready to go cancel, they always do this thing that be making me mad because it get me like 80% of the time. I get ready to go cancel something, and I was getting ready to cancel Netflix. I was like, listen, you watching videos and movies, but you also got Hulu, you got Amazon Prime. Do you really want Netflix? And I was getting ready to cancel, and I went to go cancel. And of course, what pops up? Hey, I'll give you 2 free months. I'm like, 2 free months. And so I'm like, yo, listen, okay, cool. I'm going to take the 2 free months. And then so I choose that. But it also gives you questions. It asks you, why are you canceling? It says, even if you've tried to cancel an email, it's asking you, are we texting you too much? Are we reaching out too much? Did you request to even get these emails? It's assessing, why are you leaving? Everybody said, why are you leaving? And so you want to find out why people are leaving if they signed up to start, but they're never finishing, because people who finish are the ones that renew, that refer, that decide to come back and buy again and buy again. But most importantly, the ones that stay are the ones that trust you the most. And so you want to find out why people aren't finishing, why people start or don't finish. And once you identify those things, you'll start to be on your way to see that your client experience isn't just a transaction, a moment of transaction, and then making your clients feel good. Your client experience is designed to help your business grow and to support growth on purpose. And so I want to encourage you today to stop looking at your client experience as like some intangible soft skill and start to look at it as a strategy. And the moment that you do, you will realize that you have a powerful business growth strategy and business asset that you can use to grow your revenue, your retention, and get those referrals. So I'll see you on the next video.